the Gruel kittens that are in this rabbit cage right here. If you haven't already met them, they're named after desserts like custard and ganache and frosting and all that. They eat every 3 to 5 hours, and they eat what we call gruel. Now, typically gruel is made with formula. These guys have moved past that. I just make their gruel with warm water at this point. So you're just going to take pate style canned kitten food, and since these guys are a little skinny, I've been adding a little bit of meat flavored baby food. This one is beef. They seem to really like it, and the extra calories never hurt. When you're fostering kittens, your main goal is to help them gain weight, because we want them to be up to 2 pounds in order to be spayed or neutered, and in order to gain weight, they gotta eat. So I just have some warm water, some canned pate kitten food, and some baby food. And you're just, these guys don't do milk in their gruel anymore. They don't like it, so
They're done with it.
yeah, they're done with it. So this is just kind of what you're gonna make. It just kind of looks like meat soup, and that's perfect for them. That's exactly what they want. Come here. I know.
You do one at a time, you wouldn't put it in there?
I do one at a time because gruel is notoriously very messy. Sometimes they need a little help. This guy, not so much.
He knows what he wants.
And see, and she's good to go. And now you kind of just got to watch and make sure that she's going to eat enough. They also are very notorious for putting their feet in it, which is why I have tissues.
The other one's saying,
Do you only adopt one, or if you took 2 home, then you do this for 2, or you only adopt when you only take 1 kitten home?
Well, when kittens come in litters, you have to take the whole litter. If they come in single, we obviously will send them out as singles, but it is best to keep litters together. If you did notice them all cuddling, they help keep each other warm. They also provide a nice security blanket for one another. They will feel a lot more safe in your home if they have their siblings with them. They also, once they're a little older, these guys are not quite at the playing stage yet, but once they're a little bit older, they'll start playing with each other, and they'll learn from each other that biting hurts. And so they're a little less likely to bite you. So keeping litter mates together is really ideal, just because they're going to provide that security, they're going to provide that warmth, and they're going to provide that social interaction that they need from cats.
what about the little guy there that's all by himself? Are you going to merge that with these little fellows? About the same age?
Unfortunately, right now, we don't have anybody that's the same age and healthy.
Okay.
You only ever want to mix litters if they've been through a quarantine period already and healthy. Mixing litters can be extremely dangerous due to like bacterial infections, viral infections, that kind of thing. As a shelter, we typically don't do it just because we'd like to keep that risk low.
Okay.
Single kittens, however, do end up being a little bratty. If you haven't met Lexi's foster kitten, she does not know that biting hurts because she's been raised by herself. And then my most recent foster, Hiccup, he was raised all by himself, and he was kind of a little rowdy. So litter mates are great. They come this way on purpose. And so this kid's still eating. She's clearly not drowning in it, which is good. She hasn't put her feet in it, which is good. These guys don't require stimulation in order to go to the bathroom. These guys do. So after you feed them a bottle, what you would do is I'm going to violate you. I'm sorry. I know.
I don't
I'm sorry.
need it.
You don't need it. What you would do is you would take something soft like a tissue, cotton pad, something like that, and just gently rub their genital area. This kitten does not need it, so he does not like it. But that's how they go to the bathroom. So in the nest, a mother would be doing that to keep the nest clean. Since we're not moms, we fortunately don't have to use our mouths. If you're done, someone else would probably like it. No?
Not done yet.
Not yet.
Would you do that?
Here, let's get the other big one.
You try to feed them all together, or?
I like to feed kittens alone, just so that way I can watch them. I'm making sure they're eating enough. I'm making sure they're not getting it all over themselves. It's You can feed them in a big cluster, that's fine. You're just going to be cleaning up a lot more. The more kittens you add, the more chaos you add to a situation.
At what age can you put them all down together? Usually?
In about a week, these guys could probably all eat together.
Like at 6 weeks then or something? Or 5?
Yeah, about 5 weeks is when they really start to eat on their own. This is like when you still have to pretty much help them. These guys can't eat hard food yet, so they can't be left alone for long periods of time because they need to eat every 3 to 5 hours. Since they're not drinking water and they're not eating food regularly throughout the day, this is everything for them. So it's important to know that like their metabolisms are worked differently than ours. So eating lots and lots of small meals throughout the day is what works for them. And then once they're older, they can regulate themselves. They can go drink water when they want to, and eat when they're hungry. These guys, you kind of have to remind them. They don't automatically know. Are you done?
Would you still keep a little bowl of water in here for them, or they
I do not keep food or water in with these guys yet. Probably in about a week is when I'll start doing that.
You don't get it mixed up.
No, I can tell all of these apart, and I've only had them for a couple days. And they all have their own little nuances. So obviously the orange one is different. This is the grumpy little girl. She is the fiercest one. She is the loudest one, and she will have no problem letting you know who's boss, and it's her. This is the fat happy one. He's just content to eat and be snuggled. And then the little teeny tiny skinny boy is always kind of he's the runt. He's kind of in the back. He's in the shadows. He's like, no. So that's how I tell them all apart. You have fat happy, mean girl, sad little one, and then the orange one. We give them all names here at the shelter, but it's very common for foster families to call the kittens their own things. A lot of fosters will come up with their own names, and that's cute and that's fine. We don't mind that. The only thing is that their names are in our system, so if you call and you're like, I have baby face, we're like, I don't know who you're talking about. But I definitely am guilty of giving my kittens nicknames.
At this young, you can tell the sex of them?
Yes, you can. You can tell the sex of them pretty much once they're born, as soon as they're born.
What's the age of these now?
These are about 4 weeks old.
4 weeks.
They're a little bit under 4 weeks old.
So in 8 weeks, they should be 2 pounds, and they're brought back.
In 4 weeks, they will be 8 weeks old, and that's when they get brought back. Oh, now he's getting through it. Oh, are you getting your feet in it? See, they love it. They love it. The sooner you clean it off of them, the easier time you will have. Because this stuff turns to cement.
If you had an adult cat at home, so the adult cat would maybe want to adopt them and try to mother them?
I keep my foster kittens separate from my pet cats. Mostly because my pet cats don't like them, but there are...
Well, they haven't learned bad habits at this age. So they're not
bad habits.
Yeah, they won't be territorial, they won't be fighting, they're not going to be...
I mean, they're still cats. They still are going to do cat things. They're still going to get into flower pots and climb your curtains.
So that little one's using the litter box?
Yep, he's using the litter box.
Good for him.
He doesn't have the best poop right now, but I just got them a few days ago, so we'll work on it.
Now you're supposed to keep them away from your own animals for like 2 weeks or so.
2 weeks just to make sure they don't have anything infectious.
You like it, you're trying.
They get their first shots at 4 weeks old. So these guys, since they're a little under 4 weeks, they haven't gotten their first shots yet, which is why we're not having visitors handle them. I obviously haven't touched any kittens or animals but them all day.
So we would bring them back to you for the 4-week checkup and then back home.
Yeah, so they would all come in. We send them all out in carriers. So you'll just bring them back in the carrier that we send them out in, and just say I'm here for vaccines for my foster animals, and someone at the front desk will direct you to either Lexi and I or whoever's in intake for that day, kind of dependent on how our days are going. It only takes about 15 minutes. We weigh them, do kind of an overall wellness check, deworm them, and vaccinate them. And then we'll come back to you. We'll give you an updated second vaccination date. We'll give you an updated weight, and If you need any supplies or anything, that's a great time to come and get more. And of course, answer any questions you may have. Every fostering situation is a little different, so it's not always going to follow the same exact guideline. You can take Gruel kittens home that love formula and hate canned food. You can have these guys who hate formula, love canned food. Like, everything's going to be a little bit different. And that's okay, you know. They're going to do their own thing. You good? Oh yeah, this one will eat until I force it to stop.
What's he gonna look like in a year?
That's okay. It happens. Oh, I know! Grubby! She's pretty wild.
Why did I have to be last?
So when we adopt, we have if you see one that's like real wild, you try to spend more time with them to calm them down and make them nice.
Yeah, and so
And the
that's
ones
called
that aren't
socialization. This little lady is getting all of the cuddles and kisses imaginable just because she is so feisty. She still doesn't like me, but we'll work on that. Fortunately, kittens are very food motivated, so once they establish that you're the person bringing them the food, they'll start liking you. They're like, oh, you're the one that cleans me and feeds me. A little bit of food aggression. It's my favorite sound in the whole world.
Are they part of that age?
They can purr. They can purr when they're newborn. That's a self-soothing thing for them that just is natural. They can purr pretty much right off the bat.
They purr when they're injured too.
They do. It's a self-soothing thing. They obviously remember it from infancy. And typically, kittens that aren't orphaned learn purring, from their mothers, but they honestly just do it on their own anyway. But it is self-soothing. They'll do it to comfort themselves if they're scared. They'll do it to heal themselves if they're injured or sick. And then, of course, what we all know is they'll do it if they're happy. This is not purring. This is not.
Interesting personality in that one.
Secret up.
You gotta hold her own, huh?
And they ate that whole bowl, which is pretty standard for them. They usually eat about that much. They'll eat more and more. Like every time I feed them, they eat more. So that's just the way it kind of goes until they start eating hard food on their own, which is good. You want them to eat a lot. If you're seeing kittens that aren't eating well, that's the time to contact us if you are fostering, because that can go downhill quickly. It may seem like the kitten is fine, but if it's not eating well, that can be a sign of trouble. So these guys are all happy and eating and using their litter box and making a giant mess, and that's okay, because that's what this age is all about, is learning the litter box, learning food. Bottle babies are super clean because they're not eating on their own or pooping on their own. And mom and babies are super clean because mom is doing all the hard work. Gruel babies, however, not so lucky. They don't understand the box. They can't eat on their own. So this is just kind of your toddlers. But yeah, these are my kittens.